All right, everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the third episode of the Big Cellys podcast. I'm your host, Blank. I got, as always, Tank and Jersey Matt with us today. We got some cool stuff on the agenda, so we'll get right into it. All right. So, Tank, how you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. Uh, Let me tell you, yesterday I drank a couple White Claws, brother. Normally it doesn't happen, and I know you guys might be saying something about this droopy mustache because I've already been made fun of today, but it is what it is. We're having a morning, but I'm glad to see your guys' face.
Thank you, Matt. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling I'm feeling pretty good today, man. Didn't get any sleep. Um, you know, typical night here in this household. One day you guys will figure that out. Definitely
Yeah.
Tank. You're gonna get your lady pregnant ASAP. I could see it.
Hey, look at this. I don't even know what to say to that.
All right. So, last
Alex,
week,
Alex won't.
go. What?
What?
Alex, what?
He won't. Disregard.
Okay.
Maybe because he's
So
smart.
last week, me, Matt, and Tank got together and did a little shoot. Shout out to Zach on Positive Vibes Media. That was a really good time. We were out there for like 3 hours at the roller rink. So we're gonna touch on that a little bit. We just did some shoots. We did some clips and stuff like that. We're gonna be posting those on our Instagram and all that. So keep an eye out for those. It was a good time. It was really funny just hanging out with the dudes and getting some good stuff for the podcast. So Tank, what do you think? I know you had a little wipeout.
Look, all right, so my blades, I need some new wheels. And honestly, that was the first time I've ever been on a roller rink, and that shit's a little slippery, man. So yeah, I did take a little spill. My hips trying to recover from that in my elbow. But you know, it's that's what Tank does. He recovers, he overcomes and ever he just overcomes it. So I'm pushing through. But I still, I folded you in half, so I don't think you really have any room to talk. So,
It's not like
you know,
skating from the front of the neighborhood to the back of the neighborhood.
well, that's what wore my wheels out, man. You know,
Skating from the front of the neighborhood to the back of the neighborhood. Matt, you were kind of the director and everything of it. What do you think of it?
I thought it was fun. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Zach on and off for probably 9 years at this point, so I've known him for a while. We've done a lot of fun stuff together. This was a lot of fun too. So, you guys were pretty hilarious. This stuff's gonna come out pretty good. I'm excited to post it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, man. So the big episode today is we did an interview with the director of Pro Beach Hockey. So if you don't know what Pro Beach Hockey is, it was a league in the 90s, early 2000s out in California. They had a rink out there, and it was kind of like hockey you've never seen before. There was ramps. They had 2-point shots. It was aggressive. It was hard hitting. It was just one of those things that if you weren't there, you missed out. But this guy is going to try to he's doing a documentary to bring it back and show people what it was like, and kind of people that don't know about it, people get to know about it. And we got to talk to him for a while, me and Matt, and super cool dude. We're super fired up to talk to him. It was a really good interview. We had a good time, a lot of laughs and stuff like that. So we're going to cut right over to the interview, and then Matt, me, and Tank are going to talk a little bit after about it. So Matt's going to take us over there.
Yeah, check out this interview we did with Mr. Jake Cimperman, the director of Pro Beach Hockey.
This episode is brought to you by Engine Hockey. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a very special guest with us tonight. We have Jake Cimperman, the director of the upcoming documentary about Pro Beach Hockey League. Jake, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Me and Matt really like what you're doing with the whole project, so we're really excited to get you on here, get to talk a little bit.
Yeah, happy to answer anything I can and share some details here.
Perfect. So tell us a little bit about Pro Beach Hockey and everything like that. If people don't know, people who haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, if you're of a certain age, you might remember it. It was a professional roller hockey league that ran in Huntington Beach from 1998 to 2000. It was really towards kind of the end of the roller hockey and rollerblading boom. But it was a really, really unique product in the hockey landscape because it was, while these were really good, talented players that they recruited, it was very entertainment focused, live music, cheerleaders, and of course, the ramps. So a lot of that has kind of turned into a little bit of a cult classic, in my opinion, and that's sort of what led us to where we are today in telling the story.
Okay, Matt, do you remember any of that stuff growing up? That's kind of your range right there.
Yeah, I see you dating me right there on that. That's really appreciate that. I do actually remember this. This was in my early days of playing, so especially during the summer when I would get so friggin' bored because there was never any hockey on, and it always felt like it was just took forever. The off season just felt like it took forever when I was a kid, and I was just always ready to get to next season. So this was something I do actually remember, and I always remember I was like, man, California does so much cooler things than Maryland. This would never work here. So yeah, I do remember this. It's pretty cool that you put this together.
Yeah, and I think for people, I don't know exactly how old you are, but for people who don't remember this or maybe were too young, it's also a really great opportunity to introduce them to something that uh, really caught on and influenced hockey for decades to come. Um, People who haven't seen this before are pretty shocked by it, which is, I think, the natural response.
Oh yeah, I mean, like what would you say is like some differences like with this league compared to others, and like would you say this is probably one of the most famous roller hockey leagues out there?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for every, professional iteration of roller hockey, but I can speak for, this was the first league to use a ball as far as I know. It was a totally outdoor league. Of course, there were ramps. I mean, the rules are really endless. There was nothing like it. I think another big differentiator was the 2-point shot. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but is essentially the same thing of, a an NBA 3-point arc, except the, slap shots from behind there are worth 2 points. That is certainly different than any iteration of roller hockey I've seen. Instead of a penalty box, there was a penalty shot. There were so many elements to this that were different and unique that stood out against the backdrop of something like Roller Hockey International, which is the predecessor to this. And that's why I think it's the most memorable roller hockey league, and certainly didn't hurt that it was on ESPN and, had the audience that it did.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're gonna put some links up on our video for the Instagram page because there's some really cool videos to watch on there. Me and Matt were checking them out and stuff. So, like, when did you realize like you wanted to do a documentary on this? Like, how'd you get involved with it?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those kids in the late 90s. I was 8 or 9 years old who actually used to go to these games. And I was involved in the roller hockey and the ice hockey community in Southern California. So, going to see these guys play was kind of a part of my summers there. Um, Fast forward years later, I moved away and I grew up in Buffalo, New York, primarily playing ice hockey, but I still had these kind of fuzzy memories of this league with the ramps and the cheerleaders in the back of my mind. 25 years later, I'm working in video production and film, and I just, was very surprised that no one had ever done a story on this. It was such a formative thing for a lot of people out there in Southern California. So I kind of used COVID and the opportunity where everyone was by their phone, they had more free time to start building a story and reaching out to a lot of these players, and essentially, starting to connect the dots. So it was really just curiosity that led me to this. And usually when I have good ideas about stories, they've been done in some capacity, but there was truly nothing out there about this at all.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, yeah, it's like one of those like just right place, right time. You came up with the idea and it was there. But What are some stories behind like this whole thing that like are most notable to you? Like some funny stories, some memorable stories. Like what's one stick out to you the most?
I mean, for me, it was really the lack of knowledge that the players had in regards to the rules, in regards to the rosters. I mean, I find it hilarious. Like a lot of the players didn't know that there was going to be ramps. So for them to show up, yeah, for them to show up, a week before the games and to a team meeting or a league meeting and there's ramps on the court. I mean, you can imagine the reaction for these guys who many of which were playing in the AHL or the ECHL at the time, as ice hockey players. This was just sort of their summer job. So um, sort of the spontaneous nature of it, I think is incredible to me. A lot of these guys didn't want to use a ball. They didn't know the rules and the rosters, while this was taken seriously and the guys were playing for money. The rosters were very fluid. So there was mid-season trades. Sometimes guys just got told which team they were going to play for that day. And some of that was also influenced by the partying that was taking place off the rink. So, just really fascinated by how this was able to come together despite the lack of sort of involvement from the players and knowledge beforehand.
I
Does
think that's
your
really like go ahead, Matt.
does your doc go into like a lot of that, how this league actually started and the funding and kind of those types of things?
Yeah, I mean that was sort of the motivation for me was telling an origin story because we don't see leagues like this anymore. We don't really see this was sort of the era of like the X Games and WWF, like all these alternative leagues that did really well. And were big in pop culture. We don't really see the risks being taken today that were being taken, like that on that type of programming. So I was really interested just in the origin of that and how does something so unique and groundbreaking get uh off the ground.
So I mean, with something so unique like that, like, do you think there's a chance that it could like come back as big as it was then to like something modern day
Mhm.
now?
I mean, look, I have to, I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to sort of this brand and this world. So of course I'm optimistic that there's, an opportunity for it to be revived in some capacity. We definitely have ideas on how it could work today. It wouldn't work the same. This was a cable broadcast, and now the attention spans are so much more splintered across social media and digital. We would have to figure out a way to do that, but I think that's an opportunity. Do I think it'll be as big as it was? It's hard to say. This was the 90s were the rollerblading boom, and then you also had Gretzky in Southern California. So a lot of things really lined up that made this such a successful and impactful event. But I totally think there's an appetite for it and something that people who can't afford to play ice hockey or can't afford equipment or ice time, I think this is a great avenue to get involved in the sport. So we definitely see potential there.
Yeah, I mean, you even mentioned with like Gretzky in the '90s, you also had like the Kings and the Ducks, like with all their success and stuff like that. So, do you think that helped kind of pave the way for that league and everything, or do you think that was kind of its own thing compared to that stuff?
I mean, I think the when you combine the rollerblading boom of the late 80s and 90s with Wayne Gretzky arriving in California, I mean, to me that's the groundwork that was laid for professional roller hockey. I think it's pretty simple to kind of trace that. And then you also had the Ducks come in the mid 90s. So all those factors really helped, but we also saw roller hockey attracting audiences that didn't necessarily relate to the game on ice because they couldn't afford tickets or they couldn't afford ice time. So it was able to carve out its kind of own audience, and I think that helped grow the game on a larger scale.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely see how, those go hand in hand, but it kind of is its own thing on the side as well. So when are we expecting to kind of see the final project and everything like that? What stages are you in, and what's the like layout looking right like?
Yeah, so I mean, the documentary is done for, we finished post-production a few months ago, and we've been doing some screenings around mostly on the West Coast, but hopefully doing some on the East Coast as well later this summer. In terms of a wider streaming release, we're having these conversations and it's evolving, and we just need to find the right partner and the right home for this, somewhere that's going to market it and support it. And hopefully that will come this summer, if not early fall, because we want people to see it.
Yeah, I'm for sure trying to check it out. Watching the videos and stuff on your guys' YouTube, I'm super into it, and I'm like, I need to see this thing. This is gonna be really cool to watch.
Yeah, if you're thinking of doing something in the DC, Maryland area, definitely let's chat. I'd love to somehow try to get this going or get a screening going out here with this. This is awesome.
I think everything's on the table. We want to go to where the the hockey audience is. Obviously with its roots in California, it's been great showing the film here, but I realize that people, east of the Mississippi want to see this as well, so which I really appreciate. So I think we can certainly explore that.
Definitely, definitely. So, like you mentioned that and everything, and we've been seeing it a lot more, especially in Arizona and stuff like that. But the hockey scene on the West Coast is like thriving right now. So, like, what is your take on that? A lot of the NHLers coming out with the Southern California playing now. So, what do you think about that? Like the explosion of pretty much hockey in California, Arizona, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. The demographics of the sport have really evolved over the last, 15, 20 years. There are so many more ice rinks out here now. That's the first, right? That's like, that is a prerequisite. And then, guys playing roller hockey in the summer and developing their game that way. Um, I think it's just wonderful for the sport. It's for decades, it was really confined to that sort of Northeast Canada, Minnesota. And now, just there's so many amazing players coming out of this part of the country, but also, the Sun Belt as well. It's just great for the game, and the more people that can be introduced to the sport, I think is better, whether that's on ice or wheels. I think it's a great alternative as well.
You think it's making it a little bit easier for production because of how much hockey's blown up over there?
In terms of production for film or for
Like overall kind of like the hockey scene, but like with trying to find an audience for this, which obviously there's a huge
Mhm.
audience already, like you said, the older guys that kind of grew up with it. But like overall, I mean, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we see like hockey over here, especially when the Kings are in the playoffs. I mean, like they are right now, super passionate fan base. The Ducks have their own great thing going. And then California also is home to, we have the Coachella Valley Firebirds, we have the Barracuda, the Gulls. So like while it's not a traditional hockey market, I mean, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of hockey fans here. So it's been great to see them embrace the documentary, and showing it here has been a lot of fun because everybody knows somebody that was involved. It was like, oh, I had a coach who played in this, or oh, I was supposed to play in this, but I got hurt. So it feels like in many ways hockey in Southern California is still sort of, there's a lot of 1 degree of separation from Pro Beach, actually.
It
Oh yeah.
seems like you guys got a, good collaboration with the Violent Gentleman going. How did that come about, and what's going on with that? What can you tell us about that one?
Oh yeah, great. I'm glad you asked. I mean, first of all, we've been wanting to make jerseys for a long time, and there was definitely a demand for it, but we wanted to do it right with a company and a brand that was, not only established in to make high quality merchandise, but we wanted to do it with a brand that had ties to Southern California. So they were on the radar for a long time. And then, as we started to build our following and get people more excited about the doc, we just got in touch with them and they were like, this is right up our alley. And we just felt like there's a lot of overlap in our audiences. So it was a no-brainer. And the jerseys they made are incredible. And I was, just blown away by the quality of them. Uh, they did a great job. So we're really excited to keep working with them because there's so much overlap in our audience. There you go.
That's ripping it right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the only other hockey brand other than my own that I'll rep.
with when you started like this whole idea and everything, did you expect it to be like as big as it is now?
To be honest, not really. I mean, I wanted to just explore this story and the origin of this league and tell that to audiences because I thought it was really fascinating. But as it grew, it sort of turned into relaunching this brand and running a business and doing events and merchandise. And, it's at times it's kind of wild to look back and see how that snowballed, but it's been really exciting. People love this brand. So I want to do what I can to honor it and the things that they built back in the 90s, but also try to like spin it forward and say, okay, what should we be doing to help continue this legacy and to grow roller hockey. So I did not really see this happening. I just wanted to tell a cool story, but it's grown and appreciative for it for sure.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say it's going pretty big now. So, good for you and making all that stuff happen. So, being out in California, we do got to ask, how do you feel about the Kings run right now? You think they're going to shut out the Oilers, get it to the second round?
I mean, they left the door open for the Oilers, so I'm a little nervous. I'm fortunate to be going to the game tonight. I think that was a pretty pivotal turning point in the series was the Oilers scoring that overtime goal. So I'm a little nervous. But back at home tonight, so we'll see. But it feels like they had a chance to put the nail in the coffin, and that could be an issue.
I feel like a lot of people are underestimating the Kings. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean they're a really well balanced team. I think they play really great defense. They've got a really cool mix of guys like Doughty and Kopitar who have the experience and have been there. And then you have a guy like Byfield who just brings this young, sort of dynamic energy. It's pretty exciting. I think they're enjoying kind of being the underdog a little bit because maybe, even though they have future Hall of Famer Kopitar, maybe they don't have the star power of, Edmonton or Colorado. So I think they have flown under the radar, but I think that's helped them for sure.
Yeah, most of the people we talk to say the same thing. No, like everyone kind of counted them out, but I think the Kings could take it to the second round.
I think they could do damage for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. They just got to
Yeah.
keep the ball rolling.
They're really well rounded. And, again, they have that mix of guys who've raised the cup before and some young blood that's hungry. So I think this is going to be a really exciting time for them and for LA.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the game's going to be good tonight for sure. Like you said, first game back home. So, Matt, you got anything, buddy? This is your era, so I'm sure you got
Yeah,
some
happy to
little
answer
questions to
anything.
ask.
My era.
Your
What the
era,
hell,
yeah,
man?
dude. I'm a young boy, dude.
Man, I just remember watching this, like just thinking like this is so friggin' cool. And finally I can watch some hockey in the summer because there was never anything to do while I was sitting there just waiting for another terrible Capital season to start, which, though back then that's what they were. They weren't the
Yeah.
quite the team they are now. No, but man, this is super cool. I'm really excited to see this doc, and I think it's gonna go a long way for sure. All the little um, trailers and teasers I've seen, it's super high quality. So this might be something that could get picked up by a couple major brands for sure.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, it's been a balance. I don't want to give away everything that's in the film, and I don't want to sort of spoil some of the unique moments that we have when we do share, but I also have to introduce this to people. So trying to keep that balance I'm glad that it's working, and yeah, we're trying to kind of spin this brand forward, and it all starts with telling the story.
Awesome. Hey, were there
Yeah, I
any
mean,
were there any good fights or brawls in this league?
There were, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably that was the other thing. I don't know about any full contact roller hockey leagues other than Pro Beach Hockey. I mean, it was
It
yeah, I
was
mean
full
it was,
contact.
oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean
Okay.
we do highlight that quite a bit. And you have to remember they had Marty McSorley was a broadcaster for a
Ooh.
season.
Okay.
They had the commissioner was Chris McSorley, and they had the guy who sort of invented this was came from the wrestling world, David McLean. So, the physical nature of this was definitely amplified and leaned into, which, is made for some really entertaining games for sure.
No kidding. That's awesome. Marty McSorley, definitely. I mean, that dude got banned from the league after that hit on Bashir. So,
I'm fired up to watch it, man. It sounds super cool. I think that anyone who's like not seen any of it, they're even in for a treat. I think it's something
Yeah.
that'll grab them and
I,
pull them in.
I love a good hockey doc, man. After this, do you plan on doing anything more in the hockey world? Is there any other projects that you got your eye on?
Of course. I mean, I'm always trying to pitch things or research ideas. So, I would love to keep doing this. And I think hopefully this is a stepping stone for more stories in hockey or elsewhere.
Yeah, that's actually something I try to do as well. With my company, I started out kind of in your field as well. I did a few projects with a few other people. My brother's very heavily in your field as well. Spent a lot of time in LA. We did a project several years ago on the FDNY and NYPD, actually. So, that was always something I always loved. I'm hooked on hockey docs, man. So I can't wait for this to come out.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, there's so many wonderful ones, from Red Army.
Ooh, great one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just, we hope that we can stand amongst them in some capacity, and this is also there's really a pop culture sort of element to it. This isn't just for hockey fans, like
Mhm.
because Pro Beach Hockey wasn't just for hockey fans, it was for fans of the X Games or WWE, so we hope that it also has broad appeal as well.
I definitely think it will, man. I mean, it's one of those things I feel like people can't not watch it and be entertained. So I feel like you kind of pick the perfect, area. It's got a little bit of everything. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm super excited to check it out. So
Well, I really
yeah,
appreciate that, and yeah, we'll keep in touch about potentially doing something in the Maryland, DC area. And if not, it'll be on streaming this summer.
for
Oh
sure. I
yeah,
appreciate it. No, I
absolutely.
appreciated that. All right, Jake. Well, we appreciate you sitting down with us, man. We're really looking forward to the doc. So, anything else you got to say?
Thank you for your time. Thanks for taking interest. If you want sort of more in-depth kind of where are we showing the film, how can you get involved? We have a newsletter. You can follow us on Instagram. And thank you so much. Pro Beach Hockey 2025, ramp it up. That was the tagline.
Cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely drop some of those links and everything so people can get attached to it and stuff like that. But again, man,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the game tonight. Good luck,
Oh,
Kings.
appreciate it.
So yeah,
All
absolutely,
right.
man.
Thanks, fellas. Really appreciate it. Good luck with everything.
This episode is brought to you by Engine Hockey. All right, thanks again to Jake for coming out and sitting down and talking with us. It was a really good interview. Me and Matt had a really good time. So we're going to touch on a little bit of stuff real quick, and we'll get back into it. All right. So like the thing I like the most is this. I wasn't super familiar with it. I've heard of it before the interview, but like didn't really look too much into it. But then they had an Instagram page. They have a couple websites and stuff. Matt's going to link those in the videos and stuff so you guys can check it out. But I mean, it was a league out there way back when Matt was like probably 22. So, um, so just that it's a crazy fucking league, man. Like it was a roller rink, but they had ramps. They were the first league to use a ball instead of a puck. And he was pretty much saying like that when people showed up, they had no idea what they were stepping into. It was a brand new thing. No one kind of knew what to expect. It was just a different league and everything like that. So it was a pretty cool talk. So me and Matt will touch on it a little bit.
Did they have like
And
organized teams or people just like, hey, show up
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was
they
like
actually
pro.
had
It was ran like
yeah.
pro.
They had
Like were
drafts,
paid.
they had trades, they had like free agents. Like literally, they say with some people would show up to the rink with one team and they're like, "No, today you're playing with that team. That's your new team." So it was
Was
like
this like for
completely
fun,
fucking
or was
random.
this like legit? Like,
It was originally for fun, and then it got fucking that serious. Like
okay,
then they made it a whole league. It was covered by ESPN2 and shit like that.
what
So
was the
it
reason?
was
What was the reason why it went downhill?
I'm sure it
it just
folded
was
because of funding.
yeah. So there was a big like roller skating boom in like the
We'll find out
late
in the
'90s and stuff.
documentary.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a big roller skating boom in like the early 90s all the way up to 2000s, so it kind of paved that way. And then also Gretzky was like coming to the Kings in that time, paying like,
I
I mean
got you.
Dallas was doing it, so it was a lot of like the perfect storm. A lot of shit just came together and made this blow up, and then eventually it just kind of faded out. But I mean, like they still do roller hockey and stuff like that, but it's just not like the pro beach hockey, you know what I mean?
Did
All
you
right.
guys ever? You guys ever play that game back in the day on like PlayStation 2 or whatever? Like it was like backyard basketball of some sort where you had like the pro players, but it was like 3v3.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
Was it?
hearing about it. I never played it
So was
though.
it? So was it kind of like that?
Yeah, yeah. Like if you, so they had there was a point on the court, kind of like in basketball, where if you shoot from there, it's a 3-pointer. They had one if you shot behind the line, it was a 2-point shot.
One thing that I thought was really cool, I don't know if you noticed this from any pictures or videos, but they had like an actual stage set up for like behind one of the goal zones for like musical acts and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He was talking. He was saying it wasn't even about just the hockey. Like there was concerts,
It was
they
like
had
a
food vendors, like
it was
a
like a
party.
giant party, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was really cool. So
All right,
yeah. So
it's
just
called NBA Street. That's the game I'm talking about. I'm gonna
well,
bring that
that's
up.
yeah. You could say it's like that. Yeah. Yeah.
He spent all this time looking up NBA Street.
I know. I thought he was looking at fucking videos and shit like that.
I
All right.
know. I thought he was looking up the actual pro beach hockey.
I was like, I didn't even give him the Instagram. How does he know what to look up? It's NBA Street, dude.
See, that's perfect. That's going in.
Man, it was really cool to watch the videos and stuff like that. Me and Matt talked after, and if you like watch some of the clips and stuff, it wasn't even just about the hockey. Like it was one big party. They had a stage set up. They had a bunch of food vendors. There was constant parties. I mean, you're on the beach, so I mean, what better time to do stuff like that? But it was really cool getting to talk to him and kind of how the whole thing came together. I'm really looking forward to the final product. He said it should be making its way to the East Coast here soon for some viewings and stuff. So hopefully we'll get to see it pretty soon. And as soon as we see that come out, we're gonna let you guys know. But Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, man, he was cool to talk to. I was excited to talk to him as well. I remember this stuff from, the early 2000s, late 90s, and I always, was, stuff like that could never work where we live, and that's so unfortunate, and it sucks. Hockey's just not as big here as it should be or as it could have been, even despite all the cap success. And I don't know, it makes me want to like do like our own like roller hockey tournament, maybe adapt some of their rules, do like a big Cellys Cup with some pro beach hockey rules. So I don't
Oh
know,
yeah, I mean,
something that could be cool.
I don't know if we can get away with the ramps and stuff, but we can definitely incorporate.
Nah,
I think that my favorite rule out of there was the 2-point shot. If you
yeah,
shoot it beyond that line, I think that's a pretty cool rule, man.
I do too. I like that as well. That's something that we could probably put into this future tourney that we're hoping to put on within the next year.
Yeah, Tank,
I
you
think we
watched
need to.
some of the Instagram and stuff like that. Like, what did you think about it?
Honestly, we need to do this and bring up the ramps because there's nothing. I'll hit like a quarter pipe and then do like a 50-50 grind with a slap shot right over like the shoulder because like it's
Well,
doable.
how do we
At
do
least
the
for me.
ramps then? How do we bring the ramps into to the rink?
On a pallet jack. You
On a
guys are
pallet jack?
overcomplicating it. Yeah, it's
Are you going to
easy.
build it? Where are the ramps? Where do we
Well,
find
let's
them?
go to well, we got to go to Home Depot. Let's produce some things. I think
All
it's
right, well,
doable.
we'll see what we can do, buddy. But you said it was kind of Tank. When we talked a little bit, you said it reminded you of something. I forget what it was. What was it?
Ah, dude, no, because you guys are describing this, and it just throws me back to like back in the day, dude. I used to play this PS2 game, NBA Street. That's kind of what you guys are
Yeah,
describing it to me as, but I think it's pretty much like that.
I could see that being like this is that version of hockey, but man, if like I'm telling you, anybody that's listening, if you haven't, go check out their Instagram and watch some of those videos. It's crazy. Like it's not what you expect. And like he said in the interview, like most of the guys that showed up to play, they had no idea what they were stepping into. So it was really cool to watch. But yeah, again, thank you, Jake, for sitting down with us, man. We really appreciate it. We had a really good time. So all right, so NHL playoffs. Uh, a lot of stuff going on right now. So we just had the Hurricanes. They're the first team to secure a spot in the second round. But there's a lot of stuff going on, like just like hits and stuff like that. That I mean, like I always say, NHL playoff hockey is always a little more gritty than regular season. So like obvious our team, the Capitals, they had Tom Wilson with a good hit and Ovechkin with a hit. And there's a lot of controversy, like, oh, Alex Ovechkin should be suspended. Like, if you watch the clip, he doesn't even. It looks like he almost tries to avoid the hit. Like they just were coming in contact. Guy dumps the puck, and then Ovechkin, you can even see and hear from the broadcasters. They're like, no, you can see he tried to avoid it and everything. But I mean, they're talking about suspension for Tom Wilson and Alex Ovechkin. I think it's. I don't think that's even reasonable. I think if you look at a lot of people are calling Ovechkin a dirty player, and then you see like players that fans that don't like Ovechkin are like, no, that was a clean hit. Like they were coming in the lane. Like that's just what happens. It's hockey. So, Matt, what do you think about the game so far?
First of all, Montreal, you're a great hockey town. Your fan base is rabid. You're loud. The arena is insane, way more insane. But my God, you guys are the biggest crybabies I've ever freaking seen in my life.
Easy.
Like
Feels
what?
like you're watching soccer.
Oh my God. You guys are supposed to be the authority on hockey in the world. And you guys are a fucking joke. The amount of crying that's going on over Tom Wilson and the bad officiating. I'll say this, officiating has been pretty bad, but it's been bad on both sides. So I guess that's technically fair. But the
Yeah.
amount of crying that is just blowing up. You know what? Maybe you guys aren't ready for playoff hockey again. I know Montreal has been kind of, a team, that hasn't really been producing much over the past 30 fucking years.
Yeah. Okay.
Shut the hell up.
No, okay. Sorry. Jeez.
It's playoff. Welcome to the playoffs. I know you haven't been there in a while, but
100%.
it's playoffs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, it's just it's kind of ridiculous. Like the decisions have already been made and everything like that, but they're still trying to go after it. I mean, I can see it. If I was down 3-1, I'd be a little upset too. But quick recap: so we got Jets Blues are tied 2-2. We got Stars Avalanche. Dallas leads by 3-2 right now. So that kind of went off of. I thought Avalanche was going to pull that one, but we got Golden Knights leading 3-2. Edmonton is leading 3-2. Toronto is leading 3-2. That's
They're
a
about
big
to blow
one.
it. They're about to blow it.
That is a we had a little talk. I had a game last night, and that was the talk of the locker room last night. But Florida leads 3-1. Capitals lead 3-1. And obviously, like I said, the Hurricanes just secured their spot in the second round. So still a lot of good hockey. I'm hoping Capitals can pull it out tonight for us. I'm banging on the Maple Leafs to pull it out as well. So I think they're going to be pretty solid. Like we talked about. There's a lot of good games still to play. So, Tank, how about you touch on it a little bit, buddy?
Dude, you guys know I've been so freaking busy recently. I've been putting in that overtime at work. Not really been working trades, but I haven't had time to watch. But like I said in the last episode, the only team I'm really looking at is the Caps because they're going all the way. You just said 3-1. What was my prediction last week? Exactly.
Was it 4-1? Was it 4-1?
Oh no,
3-1.
this for what? What was 4-1?
For the Cap, what was your prediction for Caps Canadians?
What was it?
Did you say sweep?
I think he said a
No,
sweep.
I
no.
said 6 games because the Caps never make it easy on themselves, and I still
Yeah,
don't
because
think they've made it easy on
I didn't even know
themselves.
what
Well,
I didn't even know what a sweep was. I thought we were talking about sweeping up the dirt off the floor, but that's basically what the Caps is going to be doing anyway.
God, you're on a
no, I
sports
mean,
podcast. Jesus.
we're back home tonight. I got a feeling we're going to come out electric. If we can take it home tonight, secure that spot, play the Hurricanes in round two, I think we're going to be, doing pretty good. So we'll see what's going on. The Western Conference, man, it's a lot of like 2-2s, 3-2s. So I think there's going to be a couple more good games. I think Golden Knights could, have a good chance to take it at home tomorrow, if they can keep it up. Matt, you said they're going to blow it. So what's going on with that?
Which team's gonna blow it?
You said who did you say was going to blow it? Was it Edmonton? Yeah, Edmonton. Yeah, you said Edmonton's going to blow it.
I
They're
thought
leading 3-2, but
no, I thought they would. I thought Edmonton was gonna beat LA. I still think they will. It's clearly not as they definitely didn't make it as easy on themselves that I thought they would. I thought that would probably be a 6 game series, which it still can be. If Edmonton wins in Edmonton, which is probably likely, then that comes to fruition. I expected Vegas to beat Minnesota. They're on the verge of doing that. I expected Dallas to beat Colorado. They're almost
for
there.
sure.
I expect the Jets to beat St. Louis, but I think that's the one series that I feel like I could be wrong about. I think St. Louis has more playoff experience than the Jets, and Connor Hellebuck does not look good right now. He's been pulled twice, and on the second time he went straight to the locker room. He didn't even stay on the bench, which is uncommon. So I think that's probably the one series that could see an upset. Dallas and Colorado to me are probably the two best teams in the West, and I wouldn't be surprised whoever wins that series would win the West. I still have Vegas winning because I think their path to the final is probably the easiest out of all teams. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand with that still. I think the West is shaping out. Every series really is shaping out as like I expected, actually. The Caps are a weird scenario because I don't think they've played well except for the first 2 periods of the first game. When I was there, it definitely took notice. Like they were rolling all over Montreal. It was very, very one-sided. The goalie kind of kept him in it, which tends to happen. But the Caps were a clear better team, and they eventually got it in overtime. But the next game was kind of could have been a coin flip, and then game 3, just all hell breaks loose in Montreal, which you have the Tom Wilson brawl with Anderson on the bench, and
Yep.
that game got out of hand. It got so out of hand that the league office basically told both teams knock it off, and the refs were actually out there during warmups for game 4, which is not common. They don't do that in the
No,
NHL.
no, heck no, never.
So the refs were out there in game 4, and they kind of game 4 definitely didn't have as many theatrics, but the Caps eventually were able to kind of claw their way through that one and bring home a good lead to DC. They can close it out tonight. I think they have to in order to go into Carolina with some confidence because Carolina is still my pick to win the Stanley Cup. I would love for the Caps to be able to get past them, but the Caps still have to get through Montreal tonight. They were up against Montreal 15 years ago, up 3-1. They blew that series, so
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
not over. The Caps need a very convincing blowout win tonight to prove that they are the best team in the East, and
yep.
and that Montreal is they're not ready. Montreal is not as good as the Caps. However, it's playoff hockey. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Yep. Well, I got some statistics from ESPN. So this is from the fine people out in Las Vegas, the people that gambling. This is the what who's expected to win. So for Jets Blues, Winnipeg is what they believe to win. Colorado over Dallas, even though like most of these are a little different. It's actually pretty cool because some of these teams are leading right now and they're expected to lose. Golden Knights are expected to win against the Wild. Edmonton is expected to beat the Kings. Ottawa is expected to beat the Maple Leafs, which, yeah, that's Maple Leafs are gonna.
That would be
It
that would be
it's
so
crazy.
great.
I
I
mean,
have
it's a
I have so much family that's Toronto fans,
it,
and it would be so funny because
so
they're like Montreal fans. They're so like everybody's a bad guy except for their team. Oh, I hate Gary Bettman because he hates Canadian teams. Oh my God, they're the same.
yeah, I don't know how updated this is because this does have Tampa Bay over the Panthers with Panthers leading 3-1 right now. So
I
I
don't
don't know
see
how
that
updated
happening.
this. Yeah, no, I don't either. Washington, you already know. You already know Washington. And then again, last time Hurricanes. My thing with this one is Devils did take one home. Like that you predicted that, Matt. So
Hmm.
that right there can show the Caps like they're not unbeatable.
Yeah,
They're a very solid team, but I mean, that one game that we lost, it was a good game still. It's not like we got blown out. It was, obviously with the, empty net goal and everything like that to end, it wasn't the greatest, but we were in that game. So I think, we're coming home tonight.
it's hard
We're
to
the number
sweep.
one seed. So, I mean,
It's hard to sweep any team. Doesn't matter. I know Caps got swept last year because the Caps were a very bad team in the playoffs
yeah, yeah.
last
No,
year.
we had no business in the playoffs,
No,
but
none at all.
this
But
year we're coming out. We got a fire in our ass. I think,
if the Caps can have a very convincing win tonight, that puts them in good position against Carolina. It gives them a lot of confidence, and there's all that built up um, hate from the last two regular season games against Carolina. You know that's going to spill over into the playoffs. The disadvantage for the Caps is they're going into two fan bases early on in the playoffs. And look, they still have to get through Montreal tonight. That series is not over. And I'm not counting Montreal out yet. They Caps should win. They're supposed to win, but we'll see. But if they do get past Montreal and they can get it against Carolina, that's another building that's going to be very hard to play in, and
yeah,
that is a factor.
100%, 100%. We gotta, like I always say, we just gotta start off really strong. We gotta,
I'm
set the
calling
tone,
I'm
and
calling Caps fans out right now. You need to step it up with your noise because Carolina and Montreal, you got nothing on them.
they're loud. They're
Yeah,
loud
they're very
for
loud.
sure. Uh, so really good games this week. We got some tonight. We got some tomorrow. Next time we get on here, it'll probably be middle of the second round. So looking forward to talking about that. Going all the way to the Stanley Cup. So we're gonna try to do a couple extra episodes to cover each round all the way up to the Stanley Cup. So definitely stay tuned for that. Tank, what else you got to say, buddy?
Nothing. I
Cap,
got nothing.
cap, Caps for the win.
Cast for the win. Yep. Okay.
What's your
Whatever.
take tonight? What do the Caps got to do to get past Montreal tonight? And I
Oh, they
swear,
got to win.
if you say score more goals, I'm gonna reach through the computer screen. I swear to God.
Well, what I was going to say is they have to win.
God, it's
So I
killing
think
me.
it's all about hitting hard,
From the
passing
yard.
strong, and putting goals in the back of the net.
God,
Pucks in the back of the net. Cool. Sick.
fucking kill
Way,
me.
way to say it, Tank. Thank you so much for your intake.
So
But
I used to do motivational speaking on my off days, but now I
okay,
have no off
we're
days.
gonna do a video of you doing a
We have
motivational speech then.
we have and we have videos of talking trash on the bench that we are very excited to show the world.
Yeah, yeah.
He's we have so many look, if you're a young hockey player right now and you're trying to learn how to play hockey, we got you covered. We've got some great instructional videos coming from Blank and Tank. Get ready.
It's great. You guys are in for a treat. Matt, what else? What do you got to say to finish us off?
Oh, we're done?
No, we're just wrapping it up.
Oh, well, yeah, hopefully Caps can take it tonight. Nothing's going to surprise me at this point, being a Caps fan for as long as I have. I've seen some colossal failures, definitely in person. But this is I think one of those, like we talked a few episodes ago. It's one of those kind of must win years for the Caps. They've got to prove that they weren't a one-hit wonder, and it's one of Ovi's last shots. You don't know what next year's going to be. You have your opportunity now, and you got to take it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's the big talk too is every Stanley Cup that the Capitals / Penguins have won, they've had to go through one another. So this is going to the first that Penguins didn't go to the playoffs with the Caps. So we don't have to go through them. So I mean, it's not a huge deal, but I mean, this is another chance to make history, not having to go through the Penguins.
Yeah, but they're going to have to go through Carolina. They're going to have to go through
Yep.
Florida because Florida's going to beat Toronto in round 2. I'm calling
Yeah,
that one right now.
100%.
Toronto will not. Toronto's not going to the conference final.
No,
I think.
no.
I think they're a team that is also in that must win, and is good enough to win. But I don't know. I still think they're choke artists.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I like the Maple Leafs. I would like to see them win, but Panthers are they're just that team. So
Yeah, Panthers
coming
are
off
still
a
that
Stanley,
team.
yeah, coming off a Stanley Cup, you're riding high already. So they're trying to go for the back-to-back. We appreciate everybody. Thank you all for listening in and everything like that. So, Matt, you look like you want to say something.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
All right, perfect.
Tank should probably say some more things though.
Yeah, Tank. Yeah. Thank the people, Tank.
Yeah.
I want to thank all the people, and I love talking to you guys. I know.
Nailing it. You're nailing it right now.
Yeah, dude. You're killing it, bro.
Yeah, you're killing
Big
it.
talker. Big talker.
Big talker.
Your name is on the logo.
Literally, your face is on the logo. Okay, hey Tank. Your mom just texted me. Do you want sunny side up or scrambled eggs for breakfast?
Tell her I said hi.
I'll tell you, honestly, if you could tell her scrambled with some bits of ham in there and a little
Scrambled with some bits of ham. Okay, I got you. All right, so that's gonna have to wrap it up for us right there. Tank's got to go down and do the dishes so he can eat breakfast. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. We'll see you soon with another episode. And this is Big Cellys signing off.